Okay, so what I'm seeing is we've got the Eight of Swords, we've got the Ten of Coins, Three of Swords, and then Seven of Coins. So you've got a lot of coins and swords energy in the first part of the week, first part of the month. And what that tells me is that you may be thinking a lot about money or financial resources. Your thoughts may be revolving around that. And interestingly, because this is Eight of Swords and Three of Swords energy, you may feel a certain amount of disappointment or powerlessness or feeling betrayal. Your thoughts may be somewhat related to, where it's hurting your vitality, or you're feeling disappointed or kind of powerless and victimized by resources or by something in general. This Eight of Swords is victim mentality. It is feeling powerless, and it's usually having to do with your own thoughts are keeping you in that powerless feeling. It's feeling, in this imagery, she's like bound and gagged or just blindfolded and bound. But really, she has this vital red colored robe. She has power. It's really her thoughts about the situation where she's staying victimized, and she's feeling powerless and immobile because of her thoughts about the matter. As you can see, the swords that surround her don't actually fully enclose her. So she could actually cut these binds on one of the swords and rip the blindfold off and walk away. But because of her thoughts of feeling like she has no power in the situation, she remains stuck. And I'm going to say, too, this may correspond for you, Capricorn. There is a full moon in Pisces, and that is in your third house of communication. So there's something that is coming to a culmination. There's something that is coming to a head. So there's some way, I don't know if communication is where you're feeling this victimization coming to a head or not, but there's something going on for you in terms of Pisces full moon in your third house. All has to do with communication. So it may be time where you feel like you actually need to communicate your truth or speak your truth. That could be part of why you've been feeling victimized in the first part of the month, is because you're not actually getting to express your own power. There is also a way in which this Ten of Coins is money that's coming to you, money that has been inherited, money that is, or resources, finances, material possessions, all these things that are gained through good decisions over time. That is Ten of Coins energy. So usually it's passing on from an older member of the family or a patriarch or matriarch to the younger couple in the family, and it's enjoying the riches of having made good decisions over time. The fact that this is in reverse says that there may be lots of money that you were expecting that is not coming to you yet. And this is why you're feeling powerless or victimized, or that, this great lump sum of money that you're expecting, for some reason it's being crossed out, it's being blocked, it's in shadow. So there may be lots of money that you have access to, but you haven't been able to tap into it yet. Or this could be like an inheritance that you're not going to get until you turn a certain age, or that you're having to wait on some red tape for it to come through. There's some sort of block. There might be even a couple that you're trying to, because your full moon is in the third house of communication, there might be some communication problems that are holding this up. And this card is Three of Swords. This is like third wheel energy. So there may be a third person related that's causing you some disappointment or some heartbreak or some sort of challenge or strife. It's Three of Swords in the reverse position, so it's not exactly like heartbreak that is going to tear you apart, but it's in this position, I see it more as just like disappointment. I don't know, sometimes people refer to this as betrayal, or I look at it as third wheel energy, or again, I see with these two cards in reverse, it's like a dashing of your expectations. Like your expectations may have been to receive all this money and that your heart was going to be filled. But in the reverse position, I just see that there's a block for this money to come to you, or these material gains. And that in some ways, there's just some disappointment or heartache that's involved with it. Also, too, you're having a hard time being patient with things, because this is the farmer card. So farmer is about waiting to harvest all the sweet rewards that, through lots of your effort. Farmer 7 of Coins is about having patience and reflecting upon things and reassessing things, like asking, is this really the harvest that I want to collect? If I keep putting energy and effort into the same direction, is this really what I want to be harvesting at the end? And it's having the patience to let these sort of grapes on the vine take time to sweeten. If you tried to harvest them now, it would be sour. So if you tried to just like cut your losses and get out, it's not going to be satisfying for you. But if you can have the patience to endure through maybe not receiving the expectations that you had hoped to get, through feeling some powerlessness, through, getting through some of this disappointment that you might have been feeling, then if you can access that sort of patience, then you may be able to reap these rewards. But this in reverse position in shadow, having a hard time coming to the surface, tells me that you may be kind of losing your patience with it, or not being able to access the patience of the farmer who reaps the true rewards. So think about that, Capricorn. During the first week, you've got some thought, mental energy towards your physical manifestations, your material assets, your financial gains. That's kind of where your thoughts are. And maybe you're feeling like a little bit resentful or just frustrated that you're not getting the material gains that you've kind of been waiting on. Or there's some disappointment related to that. In the middle of the month, you have what's central is that you have some sort of big change happening with this King of Fire. So King of Fire, he's usually in an authority position. This usually relates to either Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. So this is a Leo, Sag, or Aries man who's in a position of power. This could be your boss, your supervisor. This could be your husband if you're married to a fire sign man. This could also just be a partner, or this could be like a landlord or someone who's in a position of authority with you. So not necessarily equal partnership, but fire sign nonetheless with authority. And they are connected to this wheel turning. This is Wheel of Fortune, which means change. This means that what is down is going to come up and what is up is going to go down. Seasons changing, tables turning. That's what all this is about. And the fact that it's in reverse says that there may be some sort of conflict with this fire sign person who, until they're righted, you're not gonna be able to change, or things are not gonna change in the way that you had hoped. It's just like things are in kind of like this conflict, or you're not gonna be able to change things with them or you're not going to be able to change things without changing what's going on with them. So you might have to have a conversation with this person who's in authority about how to change things. That's what the central part of the center of the month is for you, Cap. It also says to me that, in addition with this farmer card about having patience and reassessing things, there's 4 of Swords energy here, which says you might need to take a time out This is another card of reassessment, and a card of, you can see in this card there is a soldier who's taking time out from a battle. And he's just come home from a battle, and he is sort of sleeping and resting, gathering his strength to go into a new battle. The fact that this is in reverse tells me that you may not be giving yourself the time out that you need or that you want to reflect upon the situation and gather the strength that you need. It's also in line with this victim card, taking time out and resting. And then this is a card of carrying heavy burdens. They're all in reverse. So it's telling me that if you continue on this path of feeling powerless, of feeling like you can't take a time out, and carrying these heavy burdens, it's a lot of oppression and victim energy. So what I'm going to invite you to do is to consider taking that time out, becoming quiet, taking some time to just rest from battle, and then you will gather strength in order to have this dialogue with this person. It may be about how things are not going how you had expected them to. Like this card, Five of Cups, is grief and sorrow, and it's kind of a card of more disappointment, where here's blood spilled or here's wine spilled. This figure is focusing on what's been lost and what's not right with the situation, and it's grief. But what they're failing to see is that there's still two cups standing up behind them. They're just so focused on the background and these cups that have been spilled and this conflict that they're not seeing that there's still this wonderful heart energy that's available to them. So you may need to foster change, is what Wheel of Fortune says, with this King of Fire card, King of Rods. And you may need to either tell them tell them sort of like the grief that's on your heart, or have them help you make this change so that you can kind of get out of this grief and turn around, make a change of your focus. So that you can focus on what you still have instead of what's going wrong. So that's the middle part of the month for you, Cap. And it could have to do, again, since that full moon in Pisces is in your third house of expression, you may need to come to them in sort of a compassionate or a dreamy manner. It may need to be sort of diffuse. It may not be able to be direct confrontation like a fire sign usually can handle, but it may need to have some sort of Piscean moon energy to it, because that's what's coming to the culmination in your house of expression, Capricorn. So then towards the end of the month, it's funny, there's a couple things happening here. First of all, this is a card, 10 of Staves, 10 of Wands, and this is traditionally a card of oppression, carrying too much, burdens, feeling like his back is breaking. But the solution to this card is to put down what is not necessary. So it's an offloading of, if you're carrying too many things, what can you put down? It's not necessary for you to carry. This is in the reverse position, so this tells me that you may be willing to let go of some of this. And a way of doing that also is, because these are all fire and energy things, you may be able to assign projects to other people, or can see the feather in this person's cap. They're very experienced. A way of offloading all the stuff that he's carrying is to teach others. So the 10 of Clubs is the teacher card. In the reverse position, I'm going to ask you, how is it presenting that you're not being a good teacher, or that you're not acting as a teacher, where you're not sharing your experience with others? Because that can unload some of the feelings of oppression that you have. This card here, Tower, is dramatic change and sudden change, and you can see lightning bolts are coming down and hitting the tower, and it's basically takes the tower down, the established way of things being. So it's a card, both in the middle of the month and the end of the month, this is signaling dramatic change. Both with Wheel of Fortune and Tower, they're both major arcana cards. This is saying tables are turning. This is saying the established order will get burned down to the ground, sudden, dramatic change. This is more like gradual change, and this is like dramatic, sudden, instant impact change. But the fact that both of them are in line with this King of Fire tells me that he is a very prominent figure in this change that's going to be happening. And the fact that he's upside down may mean that he's not going to see eye to eye with you. He's not necessarily going to be a help to you, or he may see things differently than you do. But you may need to talk to him about how things are changing, because they're definitely that happening. Then there's also, prominent to this dramatic change happening, there's Queen of Cups, and she may be involved with this sudden or dramatic change. She's actually an ally to you in this situation because she's in the upright position. This is a water sign person, so this could be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. And she's very intuitive, and she's a very emotional sign. Because the full moon is in Pisces, and because she's showing up she's actually looking at this dramatic change, you may lean on her as help in terms of how to communicate to make this change happen, or how to write the tower so that it's not change that you're resistant to, but change that you can accept. But she's going to be an ally for you in terms of things going from disappointment to tables turning to using her help in a more emotional way. She may have access to how to communicate with this fire sign, or have an intuition about things. In this case too, she also communicates with this Chariot card. This card is a card of knowing one's own mind, driving things forward with the mind, having good judgment, knowing when to go left, when to go right. This is forceful will of the mind. So this is hard control. But he does it through his mind. His mind controls the cart. As you can see, there's actually no reins. In the Rider-Waite, there's no reins. Here there are in his hands, but traditionally this card, he just controls the cart with his mind. And he's also a very intuitive card as well. The fact that it's in the reverse position tells me that there's some shadow aspect to it, or that it's being suppressed or not coming to the surface. So it's telling me you may not be trusting your intuition in the way that this Queen of Cups sees this dramatic change coming. You may have a gut feeling about something that you are not following, or that you're not trusting. So I would say, Capricorn, at least towards the end of the month, rely on this ally who's very intuitive. Trust your own intuition about things, because it's saying that you're having a hard time doing that. And do communicate, do try to work with this King of Fire in order to make the change that you want. You're going to have to embrace some patience and take some time out to just collect your strength. In the beginning of the month, just kind of, you're thinking a lot about the finances and your resources and assets, and take some time if you can. I know these are in reverse, so it's going to be challenging for you, but see if you can access patience, reassessment, and then this is also taking a time out, regaining your strength, reclaiming your strength, regathering it, and that's when you'll have the strength to present all this change that you want to happen. And see if you can access putting things down and becoming a good teacher to stop from feeling powerless, and take a rest from some of your excess thoughts and all the extra burdens that you've been carrying. You actually have a lot of power in all of this situation to walk away, to put some things down. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You can take time out and just think about things, and then present your case in a way where this King of Fire can maybe hear you. So that's going to be your challenge, but also your opportunity while the full moon in Pisces is in your third house of communication, Capricorn. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. And again, I just want to thank everyone who's been booking readings with me, who's been subscribing, all of your likes and your comments. I love responding to your comments. I just want to say thanks again.